Hello and welcome back to my declutter series. It has been a while. I have just been busy and unable to do my declutter. So we're going to start back up with my concealers. These are going to cover concealers and correctors. I was going to do two separate videos, but I decided to include them into one video. I have a lot. I haven't even counted how many, so I will be doing a count at the end, and then I'll be able to figure out how many I, decluttered. But as you can see, I have a lot. I have way too much. My plan is to declutter as much as possible, and really only keep the things that I really use. Even if I like something, but I don't love it and it's not something I reach for, I'm probably going to declutter it because I just really need to get a handle on my makeup collection, and I've been saving so many products to do a recap video and to do this, to do that, but being a full-time working mom and having two YouTube channels, it's hard. So I've just kind of decided that I really need to kind of start from scratch, really keep the things that I want, focus on the things that I want, I love, and then maybe in the future I'll do some sort of recap. But this is going to be hopefully a brutal declutter, and but let's go ahead and get started. Now, since this is so chaotic, what I'm going to be doing is I am going to be going in alphabetical order. So that way the timestamps below will have by brand. So I'm going to be going by brand. And if there's a particular brand you're interested in to see if there's a product that I have, you can just go down below and click one of the timestamps to go and look at that brand. And then any products under that brand, whether it's concealer, corrector, will be under that brand. So there's ones that are like Glowish will be under Huda. So I think I have one product from Glowish. Smashbox also has Smashbox and Becca. So it is under Smashbox, but it is a separate timestamp. So that's the only difference. Otherwise, everything is listed below. Okay, so we're gonna start with the Armani Power Fabric. This is a good concealer. I just don't like it. It's a little too thick for me. I have the shade 3. It's just a pretty heavy concealer, and I'm just not a huge fan of it. And I don't know, I never really gravitated toward it. I want to get the Luminous Silk because I think I might like that one more, but this one I am going to declutter. Okay, next up I have 3 brand new ones from Bare Minerals. I did receive these in PR. I am planning on making a video, but I'm not gonna need all 3. So I took out one of them. This is the new Bare Minerals Bare Pro 16-hour wear all over skin perfecting matte concealer with an SPF 25. It's a mineral sunscreen. So very excited to try this, but I received 3 shades. So I received Fair 150 Warm, Light 200 Neutral, and Light 255 Neutral. Here are the swatches. So looking at the swatches, I think I'm going to keep Light 200 Neutral, the one in the middle, the Fair 150 Warm, Light 200 Neutral, and then the Light 255 Neutral. If I needed spot correction on my face, I would keep this one. This would be a great shade, but I rarely need that. So, and these are they're pretty large. So I am going to be doing a review on these, and I'm going to be using all 3 shades, but I am going to declutter 2 of the shades, and I think the one I am going to keep is the Light 200 Neutral. Okay, next up we have Benefit Cosmetics, and I have 3. So this one is a concealer. This one is really more of a color corrector. It is called the Bright On Concealer Boing, and then this is the Boing Cakeless Concealer. Again, these are more color correctors, so that's why I'm including them. But I have the shades, let's see, number 3 for the concealer, and then Lychee, and then Melon. So Lychee is more of a pink, Melon is a peach, and then this is just a typical concealer. So here are the swatches right here. I think they're okay, but again, they're good. They're not my favorite, so I'm going to be decluttering all 3. These color correctors are good, but again, I just don't reach for them, and I really need to focus on keeping what I really reach for. Okay, next up we have Bobbi Brown, and I have 5 from Bobbi Brown. So 3 different formulas, but 5 different products. So I have the Intensive Skin Serum Concealer, then this is the Skin Full Cover Concealer, which I have in 2 shades, and then this is the Color Corrector. I don't see the name here, but this is the Color Corrector, so I have 2 shades of that. So here are the shades right here. So you can see this is the Cool Ivory of the Skin Full Coverage Concealer. This is Cool Sand. And then this is the Intensive Skin Serum Concealer, and this is in the shade Sand. This is my favorite. It is like a $58 concealer. I actually got it at the cosmetic company store, and it is excellent. It is such a nice sheer coverage. It's really great for anybody that's over 40. This one is a little bit light for me, but I make it work. I just love it. So I'm keeping that one. I am going to declutter these two. They're good. They're a very good concealer, but of the 3 concealers, I really love this one, and I gravitate towards this one. So I am going to declutter these 2 and give it to a friend. They're pretty relatively new. And then of the skin correctors, I think these are excellent. I have a pink one, which is light bisque, and then this is light peach. I'm going to keep both of them. I do reach for them. I do have my preference in my color correctors that I prefer, but I do reach for these, so I am going to keep those. So of the Bobbi Brown, I'm keeping 3 of 5. Okay, next up we have Caliray. This is the Caliray Hideaway. This is the Brightening, Hydrating Under Eye Serum Concealer. So it's a serum concealer, but it's pretty much a color corrector. So I'm going to say it's more of a color corrector than a concealer. I have 2 shades. I have the shades Cool Sunrise and Warm Sun Glow. That's Cool Sunrise. That's Warm Sun Glow. This one's more pink. This one's more peach. It's nice. It's nice. It's a good color corrector. It's supposed to be a color corrector and a concealer. For me, it's not enough. I can definitely use it as a color corrector, but again, I do prefer other color correctors. It's a good product. I love Caliray, but I just find myself not reaching for these. These are relatively new, so I am going to gift them to someone because there's a lot of product in here, and I just don't reach for them. So they're good. They're just not my favorite, so I'm decluttering them. Okay, next up we have a Charlotte Tilbury. So we have the Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer. I have 3 shades, and then we also have the Magic Vanish. So I have it in 2 shades, 1 fair and 2 medium. The Radiant Concealer, I have 3 fair, 4 fair, and 4.5 fair. I'm keeping all 5 products. You know, I think anybody that watches my channel, I love Charlotte Tilbury. These are my favorite. This is my absolute favorite concealer right now. This is the one I gravitate towards. There is another one that's competing with it at this point, but I still gravitate these, you know, towards these a lot. So here are the shades. So this is the 3 fair, the 4 fair, the 4.5 fair. This is the 1 fair Magic Vanish. This is the 2 medium. I do kind of gravitate between these 2. I tend to go for the 2 medium if I have a lot of dark circles. The 1 fair if I'm just looking for some brightening. But the 2 medium, you can see here, this is the one I've had. I already have a backup. I've had this one forever. It's still good. You can tell I've traveled with it. The packaging has seen better days. But I do prefer the concealer. I do prefer 4.5 and then maybe 4. 3 is a little fair for me, but I can make all 3 work, especially if I'm using the 2 Magic Vanish. But I just love all, you know, both products, and I am not decluttering any of my Charlotte Tilbury. Okay, next up we have a new one to my collection. This is the new one from Ciele Cosmetics. It is the Conceal and Protect SPF 50. I have 2 shades, 3P and 6P. That's the 3P, that's the 6P. If you watch my video, I absolutely adore this concealer. This is really giving the Charlotte Tilbury a run for its money. I took this on recent vacation. I wore it all weekend. It's amazing. It also gives SPF protection, which I love. This one they're both supposed to have a pink undertone, but I'm using both. I'm using both. If I mix them together, I'm keeping both. I love it. It is such a good concealer. If you haven't, I like a lot of the products from Ciele, but this is definitely my favorite product from Ciele so far. Next is from Cle de Peau. I forgot I had this because it was buried in my concealer drawer. This is the corrector pen. It's the Radiant Corrector for Eyes. I absolutely love it. This is ivory. I probably need a darker shade, but this is not a cheap concealer. I'm going to keep this one. I absolutely love it. I can make it work when I don't have a spray tan. Right now I have a spray tan, so it's a little bit light. I need a darker color, but it is a pricey one. I'm keeping it. It's still available. It's just a really great one. I used to have the bullets. They were good, but they reformulated, so I decluttered the ones I had. This is great. I just need I need a better color, but I am going to keep this one. Okay, next up I have one from Clinique. This is the Clinique Even Better All Over Concealer and Eraser. This is, I believe, CN18. I like this. I like it. I haven't reached for it in a while, and I don't know why. It's a really good concealer. It has the sponge, which obviously I've never used, but it is, I guess, convenient if you're on the go. I am going to keep this for a while, because I remember really liking it. I just need to use it more, and I think with having less in my collection, I'll be able to use it more. Okay, next up is this one from ColorScience. This is kind of more of a color corrector than a concealer. It is the Total Eye 3-in-1 Renewal. This is what I wear on a daily basis. This isn't cheap either. This is what I wear on a daily basis as a color corrector and sun protection. I can wear this with or without. This is what I prefer to wear if I'm not wearing any makeup or I'm just wearing light makeup for work. I use this. It blends out, it color corrects, protects your skin, you know, protects your under eye. Great. I love it. It's just a really great color corrector, but also, you know, sun protection. It does everything. So really great product. I'm definitely keeping this. Next up is this one from Color Fresh. This is the Color Fresh Pretty Fresh Concealer. I have the shade Light 40N, and it's okay. It's a good, you know, everybody was raving about it, so I picked it up. It's good. It's fine. It's a good, affordable concealer, but I never reach for it. I just don't. So don't have much Colourpop anymore, so going to declutter it. Okay, next is this one from Cover FX. This is the Power Play Concealer. This is going to be easy because it's been discontinued. So anything that's been discontinued, I'm most likely decluttering it unless it's an absolute love. This is the shade Light 2. I'm not even going to swatch it, decluttering it because it's no longer available. It was a good concealer, but it's discontinued. Okay, next we have CoverGirl. This is the Simply Aegis Instant Fix. I don't know what shade this is because there's no shade on here. It's a good one, especially for, you know, if you're over 40, but I don't ever reach for it. I have higher end concealers that I love, so I just don't reach for anything. And there are some more affordable options that I do prefer, so I mean, I'm going to declutter this one. Same thing goes with this one from Dose of Colors. This was the Meet Your Hue Concealer. This was the shade 08 Light. It's been discontinued, so decluttering. Okay, if you notice the background's different, it's because I found this one and I forgot to, so I'm moving it up because it's an E. This is the e.l.f. Camo Color Corrector. This is in the shade Peach. Here it is here. It's actually a really good color corrector. Again, I am decluttering it just because I'm trying to declutter and only keep the ones I use. But for a drugstore, and I think this is like $4, it's fantastic. It's really good. It's a really good color corrector. I just don't reach for it, but it's a really good color corrector, especially at that price. And also for this one, this is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Instant Fix Concealer. It had like a Hydra Prep on one side, which was pretty cool, and then this 24-hour concealer from on the other side. It was okay. I didn't really wear it that much. It was okay, and it's been discontinued. Then I have this one from Fenty. It's more of a color corrector than a concealer. I have the shade Seashell 03. It's really light for me. It's definitely an eye brightener, but I think I got the shade too light for me. Right now I am going to declutter it. I reserve the judgment to change my mind, but I am going to declutter it. I actually used it quite a bit, but I think the shade's just too light for me. Okay, next up are these concealers from Fiera Cosmetics. This is the Fiera Advanced Cosmetics Luxury Concealer. I have it in 3 shades, light, natural beige, and medium. This was okay. It's one that you're supposed to wear as a concealer, but you can also use as a foundation or touch-up, and it's supposed to be for, you know, more mature skin. I just didn't think it was okay. I mean, I thought it was just okay. It's probably better as a spot concealer, but I have other ones for that, so I'm going to declutter all 3. This was the light, natural beige, and medium. It's good, but it's not what it says it is. Okay, next up we have this one from Haus Labs. This is 12 Light Rosy. This is a really good concealer. I did a video on it. And also the foundation. I actually like this more than the foundation. Really good concealer. I like it. I haven't been reaching for it because, again, it's one of those that I kind of forgot about, but I am going to keep it, and hopefully with, you know, less concealers, I'll be reaching for it more. And then there's this one from Hello Fab. This is the Bendy Avocado Concealer. You can see it separated. It's been discontinued. I don't even know what shade it is. Definitely just decluttering. It was a decent concealer, but I don't even know if Hello Fab even exists anymore. Next up are these two from Hourglass. It's the same. It's the Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Concealer. I have the shades Silk and Cedar. This is Silk, this is Cedar. Cedar is the one I have in a mini. I'm going to keep both. It is a fabulous concealer. Again, I haven't been reaching for it because it was at the back of my drawer, but it's so good and hopefully I'll be able to use it more. Okay, so now we're moving on to Huda Beauty, and I have one from the Glowish line, 2 from the Faux Filter Concealer, and 3 from the Color Corrector. So first up, this is the Glowish. This is the Bright Light Sheer Concealer. I have the shade 1.5 Fair Cool. It's too light for me. I've never used it. I also think the Glowish line is being discontinued, so I'm going to declutter this one. Then we have these two Faux Filter Concealers. So I have the shades, and I did do swatches, so I'll show you in a second. This is the shade, I have Meringue 2.1N and Nougat 2.5G. 2.5G is the one I reach for. The Meringue is too light for me, so I'm going to declutter that one. And then I have the 3 color correctors. So I have Pink Pomelo, Peach, and Cherry Blossom. So let me show you the swatches. So this is the Glowish. This is too light for me. And it's a pink. It works. It's very sheer, but again, they're going to be discontinuing it. I don't really reach for it, so I can gift it to somebody. And I think this is the only time I don't even think I've used it. So it's going to be fairly new. This is the Meringue 2.1N. It's too light for me as well. The 2.5 Nougat G, that one is the one I use. That's the one that works for me. It's great. So that's the one I'm going to keep. And of the 3 color correctors, this is the Pink Pomelo, this is the Peach, and this is the Cherry Blossom. The Pink Pomelo looks pink when you just look at it at the, next to the Peach. However, when you look at the Cherry Blossom, it looks more light peach. I've tried them and I've compared them all. To me, the Pink Pomelo works the best for me. The Peach is just a little too dark. I can use it if I wear a very light concealer like with this one. But I reach for, when I need it, I reach for the Pink Pomelo. The Cherry Blossom is great, but for me, the Pink Pomelo works better, and it gives me, color corrector, it gives me brightening, it gives me everything. So I'm just going to keep the Pink Pomelo and then pass the Peach and the Cherry Blossom off to someone else that can enjoy them. Next, we have 2 from IT Cosmetics. This is going to be easy because these are discontinued. This was the IT Cosmetics Bye Under Eye Concealing Pot. I had shades light and medium. This was fantastic. You can see how much I used. And I even got it in a medium because it was a great cover up for just complexion. But it's been discontinued, so I am going to declutter both of these. This was a great product though. I don't know why they discontinued it. Next up, we have this one from Jane Iredale. This is the Pure Match Liquid Concealer. I have the shade 4N. This is fairly new. Bought it to do a video and then never got around to doing it, which is the story of my life. I am going to keep it because I still like Jane Iredale. This light shade is probably a little light for me, but maybe I'll declutter at some point. But right now I am going to keep it. I do want to do a full face of Jane Iredale at some point, so I definitely want to keep this. And I think I think I am going to like it, and though I probably need a darker shade. Next up, we have Joah Beauty. So we have 2. This was the Truly Yours Dark Circle Concealer. This is, it's a K-Beauty brand. It's owned by Kiss. So I had the Neutralizer and Light Ivory. This was fantastic. The Neutralizer I used the most. Unfortunately, this one was discontinued, so I am going to declutter it. However, I think this is the replacement. They changed the packaging as well. This is brand new. I haven't used it. This is in the shade, let's see, Enrich, which is light with neutral undertones. This is a hydrating eye serum concealer, so I am going to keep this. I loved this one. I'm hoping it's just as good. This was my favorite affordable drugstore concealer, so I'm hoping that this will be a good replacement. Okay, this is the Kaja Beauty Don't Settle Concealer. I have the shade Waffles. Here it is. It's actually a pretty good shade match for me. I think it's being discontinued though. It's been on sale for a while. Not all shades are available, so I am going to declutter it. It's a good concealer. It's a very lightweight sheer concealer. A little too lightweight for me at this point in my life, but it is a good concealer, but I think it's being discontinued. This is the Kosas Revealer Concealer. I have the shade 2.5C. The color match was okay. I really had trouble getting color matching, but I'm going to tell you, this smells funny. It actually worked really good, but it smells funny. I've heard there's been issues with Kosas, so I am going to trash this. I'm not even going to give to somebody. I am just going to trash it because I think it's gone bad, and hearing all the horror stories, I'm just not going to risk it. Okay, next up we have these two from Kulfi. This is a brand I actually I've only tried this once or twice. I have two shades. I have Ice Berry and Misty Maple. So this one is Misty Maple. This one is Ice Berry. Ice Berry is definitely the better shade for me. So I'm going to keep that one. It's actually a good concealer. Misty Maple is just a tad bit too light, and I don't need to keep two shades of this concealer. Okay, next up we have three from LA Girl. This is a nice, inexpensive, you know, drugstore brand. Two of them are color correctors. This is the cool pink corrector. This is the peach corrector. And then this is the shade Nude. I have no idea why I have Nude. Maybe I thought it was like a color corrector. It is kind of peachy, but it's okay. And it's definitely, you know, it would be even too dark for me for a color corrector. This is the shade Peach. And then this is the shade Cool Pink. This is a really great, you know, color corrector at the drugstore if you don't want to spend a lot of money. I'm actually decluttering all three because for color correctors, I use the ones that I use, my favorites, the higher end. And I really purchase these for comparison videos. I think they're good. They're especially for the price. It's just I don't reach for them. Okay, now we're moving on to Lancome. So one's going to be very easy because it is this McGrath Complete. It's been discontinued, so getting rid of that one. And then I have two in the Tintidol Ultra Wear All Over Concealer. I have the shades 95 and 110. So this is 95, super white, and then this is 110. 110 is definitely the shade for me, the 95. I've used the 95 to highlight and to just kind of highlight my face, but I'm gonna declutter it because I really don't need it. I only use it for that just because I have it, and I only need one shade. So I'm gonna declutter 95 and keep 110. Next up is this one from LYS. It's the Triple Fix Full Coverage Brightening Concealer. Fantastic, and it's such an affordable brand at, I think it's under $20. I always have a promo code, so you can save 20% if you go to lysbeauty.com, and it's usually just put LYS, whatever month it is, and then whatever year it is. So, you know, right now it would be, let's say LYS October 24, whatever. That's usually my promo code, so I have to update it every 30 days. But excellent concealer. I have the shade LP4. Definitely keeping, absolutely love. Okay, this one is a brand probably most people haven't heard of. It's Mavala. It is from Switzerland. This is the shade Light. It only came in like light, medium, and dark. It is a water-resistant concealer. It was fantastic. I love this. This was my go-to concealer. I think this is like the third one I've had. It's fantastic. Unfortunately, it I think has been discontinued. I'm not even sure if the brand still exists because at least they're not existing in the US. It was like the best. So I'm probably going to keep this for now and use it up because there's only a little bit left, and it is a really good concealer. This is one that I don't really use on camera because it's not really one I could link anyway, but just sad that it's been discontinued. Next up are these two under eye brighteners from Milani. This is the Conceal and Perfect under eye brightener. I have two shades, one Rose and two Melon. These are good. These are good under eye brighteners or correctors from the drugstore. I did a whole video on these. I thought they were good. I just don't reach for them because I have better ones that I like. So this is the shade 1 Rose. This is the shade 2 Melon. I preferred 2 Melon just for what my needs were, but I think both are worth considering. They're good. Milani's a lot of times on sale, so I think these are good if you need a more affordable option. This next one is from Milk Makeup. This is the Future Fluid All Over Cream Concealer. I have the shade 2C. I don't even think I've ever used this, to be honest. Yeah, it doesn't even look like I've used it. And now I know why. It is way too light for me. That is why I've never used it. Way too light for me. No way I can even make that work. Yeah, so gonna declutter that. That's like white on me. So yeah, that's unfortunate. Okay, moving on, we have from Nars. This is the Radiant Creamy Concealer. I have the shade Vanilla, and I love this concealer. Absolutely keeping. And again, I haven't been reaching for it because it's been buried in my drawer. I think I need a little bit of a darker shade, but I can definitely make this one work. It's just gorgeous. It just lasts. It's just great. So definitely keeping this one. Okay, so now we're moving on to Natasha Denona. So we'll start with the easy one. Transfix Matte Concealer. Crap. Just crap. This is for N neutral. Just crap. I think it's still available, but I think it's because they can't even give these away. But I think it's being discontinued, but it's crap. So, you know, I'm just going to probably toss this. It's not good. Then we have the 3 that just came out. So there's 2 concealers and then 1 color corrector. So I have the shades R2 and P2, and then I have C2 for the color corrector. So here is R2. This is P2. So R2 is kind of like a pink. Think of it as red, but it's pink. So a pink undertone, the peach undertone, and then this is the color corrector. What I've been doing is the R2, if I use the color corrector, I use the R2, and if I don't use the color corrector, I will just go for the P2. That works great. I really like these. These are fantastic. So good. So I'm keeping all 3, and I use all 3. Next, we have this one from NYX. It's the Born to Glow. I don't know what shade this is. Oh, let's see. Alabaster. I think this was light for me. This is a really good concealer from the drugstore. It does have that sponge tip. This shade was a little light for me. And again, I don't use much concealer from the drugstore. And I am going to declutter this one because it is very good. And if I were to recommend one, I think this one and I know the Joah were my 2 favorites. This one is good. It's just this is way too light for me. So I am going to declutter this one. Next up is this one from Ole Henriksen. This is the Banana Bright Vitamin C Stick. You can tell my dog got a hold of it. This is the shade Banana. They came out with a new shade called Guava. So this is more of a color corrector. I'm not a fan of this. I like this if I'm not wearing makeup. But usually when I wear a color corrector, I am wearing it under makeup. So I am going to keep this for now because I do sometimes wear this in the morning, you know, and it does brighten, but I don't like wearing this over another concealer, you know, under another concealer. It just doesn't sit well. So I am going to keep it, but it's not my favorite, and I will probably declutter it probably before my next declutter. Okay, next up we have this one from Pat McGrath. I don't know the name, but this is the shade L4. I've never been a fan of this concealer. To me, it's okay. It's just okay. I've just never been a fan. I'm not even a fan of the foundation. So spoiler alert, I would probably declutter that. It's just okay. So I am going to declutter my Pat McGrath. Okay, next up we have this one from Perricone MD. This was like the no makeup concealer. Easy to, because I am going to declutter it because it's been discontinued. So yes, discontinuing this one. Okay, next up is one from Pure. This is the Push Up 4-in-1 Sculpting Concealer. I love this one. Very, very good. I recommended it during the Ulti 21 Days of Beauty sale. It works great. This is the shade, let's see, I think it says the shade 3, but I'm not sure. It's really, really small. So this is a great concealer. Love it. Absolutely keeping it. Next up from Rare Beauty, we have the Positive Light Under Eye Brightener. I have the shade Light, which is neutral undertones to brighten fair to light complexions. And this was sent to me by the brand. This is a very sheer, so you can see how sheer it is. So it's supposed to brighten and hydrates and awaken under eyes. So I really don't use it as a concealer, but I will use it as a brightener and sometimes to highlight parts of the face that I don't want, like a shiny highlight. So I am going to keep it for now. Next up, we have another one from the drugstore. This is the Revlon Candid Antioxidant Concealer. I have this shade 005 Fair. This is actually pretty light. I can absolutely make it work, but as I've stated before, I really don't use many drugstore concealers. This one's good. It's a great option for the drugstore, but it's not for me. But this one's also too light, so decluttering. Next up from Revolution Beauty, this is the Revolution Eye Bright Under Eye Corrector. It comes in 2 shades. I have both, the light to medium and medium to deep. You'll see the light to medium is like a pink color corrector and the medium to deep is more of a peach color corrector. I bought these specifically to compare them to the Smashbox. I think they're a very good alternative. They're only $8 and sometimes you can even get them on sale. I'm going to declutter them because I have other color correctors that I love, but if you want affordable color corrector, I think these are great options.
Next up is this concealer from Rose Inc. It is the Soft Light Luminous Hydrating Concealer. I have the shade LX030. It is for light skin tones with a pink undertone. It's actually not a bad shade. But I don't know what's going on with the brand, and I really don't reach for it. It's a good concealer. It's maybe a little bit light, but I can definitely make it work. However, the brand's leaving. Sephora, I know the Rosie like left the brand, so it's going through like a restructure. So I'm just going to declutter it. Next up, I have these two products from Sephora. This is the Sephora Best Skin Ever Full Coverage Concealer in 11.5p, and then Sephora Best Skin Ever Concealer Glow in 20. These are good products. The concealer is good, and the glow is kind of like a glowy brightener. They're both good. You can see here the concealer is good. It's a good shade. I did a whole video on them. And then the glow is a good, again, brightener, really good. You can use it as different parts of the shape on the face, but I really just don't reach for them. So for that, I'm going to declutter them. Next up is this Sigma Beauty Spectrum Color Correcting Duo. I have the shade light to medium. This basically comes with two concealer and color correctors. This is great. I absolutely love this product. I can use them for color correctors. I can use them for face touch-ups. It is a really great product. It's constantly selling out, so for that, I'm keeping it. Next up, we have the Smashbox Halo Healthy Glow 4-in-1 Perfecting Pen Concealer with Hyaluronic Acid. I hated this thing. I absolutely hated it. It's just not good. Yeah, it creased on me. My shade is too light. I use it sometimes for on the face to highlight area, different parts of my face, which works. But as an under eye concealer, I do not. Also, I hate the applicator. You can see here I push too much. I don't recommend this. Next up, we have from the Smashbox and Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. This was originally the Becca formula. When Becca went under, Smashbox bought it. I have the shades light and medium, so it's fair light and medium. The fair light is like a pink, and the medium is like a peach. I prefer the medium, but to be honest, I really don't reach into these. I bought them because I was curious to see how they would compare and to do the under eye video. But I really don't use them as often. I reach for, when I want a color corrector, I reach for my Charlotte Tilbury. So I think it's good, but I still prefer the Magic Vanish to the Charlotte Tilbury, from Charlotte Tilbury. So I'm going to declutter these.
Okay, so I've reorganized a little bit since we're down to the last few. Now we're going to get to Tarte. So I have 7 Tarte concealers. These two are color correctors. So I'm going to go to those separately. This is the new Tarte Maracuja Creaseless Creamy Concealer. This is in the shade 22N. I do really like this. I just got this. I've been really enjoying this. These are the color correctors that came out with it. Really, really good keeping this one. This is the original. Don't like. This is the shade 20N. This is the original Shape Tape. This is the shade 16N, a mini. Hate it. This is the Shape Tape Radiant. Of the Shape Tapes, this is my favorite of the Shape Tapes, but it's still not a favorite. So this is the 20B Light Radiant. I'm thinking I'm going to keep this one. The Creamy was one that I actually kind of liked, but it's never been a favorite, so I am going to declutter it. It's the Ultra Creamy, again, 20B, but I just don't reach for it, and I like the Radiant more, and I like that it's a mini. This is the Tarte C Hydro Sealer. It's now been discontinued, so going to get rid of that. And then this is the Shape Tape Glow Wand. I don't even know if this is a highlighter, concealer, what it is, but decluttering. So here are the swatches. This is the brand new Tarte Creaseless Creamy Concealer in the shade 22N. That's the one I'm keeping. Then this is the original Creaseless Concealer. This was the Shape Tape. This was the Shape Tape Radiant. This was the Shape Tape Creamy, Hydro Sealer, and the Glow Wand. So of these 7, I'm going to keep this one, the brand new one, and I'm going to keep the Radiant just because it is a mini, so I'll keep that one just so I have a Shape Tape, but the rest I'm going to declutter. And then also from Shape Tape, we have these two. These are the Creaseless Correctors. I have the shades Peachy Pink and peach. Here they are. So that's the peachy pink and that's the peach. I am going to keep both of these. So far, these are really nice. I'm working on an updated video for my under eye correctors, and so I am going to keep these. These are really good. I think if I'm going to keep one shade, eventually it will be the peachy pink. That's the one I'm leaning towards. This one is a little bit dark, but I still think they're great, excellent under eye correctors, and then they go really well with this new concealer. Okay, now I have two from Tom Ford. Both of these, I believe, have been discontinued. So this was the concealing pen and in the shade 2.0, and then this was the emotion proof concealer. I think this one is still available in some shades, but it appears that it's being discontinued, and this is in the shade 6 Natural. So, and this one, ooh, it lost the, that's probably why I haven't been using it, because I lost the little spoolie or the doe foot, and then this one is this. So yeah, I'm just going to declutter both of them. It's really upsetting because these are not cheap, but that broke, and they aren't available anymore. Okay, next we have the Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. This is the shade Pearl. This is, I used to love this, and then I just stopped using it one day, and I think there's just some that I found that I liked more. I think the shade, again, I was in this stage where I was getting concealers way too light for me until I realized, like, that's not the way to go. So, yeah, I'm going to declutter it. Also, I know, like, if this is the only concealer you have, this is a great value because it's so large. But if you have multiple concealers, I hate the fact that it's so big. So, I am going to declutter this one. And this is an under eye brightener from Ulta Beauty. This one's pretty good. It's just not my favorite. It's a little too thick for me. So it's a good, inexpensive under eye corrector. I do think there's better on the market. You just have to kind of warm it up in your fingers. It can definitely color correct and be good. It just is a little too heavy under my eyes. But if maybe you're younger, it could work for you. But for me, I'm decluttering. Next up, we have this one from Uoma Beauty. This was the Stay Woke Concealer. Uoma Beauty is no longer, which is sad. This was Fair Lady T1, I think. Yeah, going to declutter it. The brand doesn't exist anymore, so just going to declutter. Okay, next up from Urban Decay, I had this little sample of the Naked Skin concealer. But again, it's another one that's been discontinued. So many of these were like buried at the bottom of my drawer, so I didn't even realize I had them. I remember liking this though. It was kind of sad, but I'm sure it's been replaced. I think there's like a new one, but I don't have that, so I am going to declutter this. Next up from Wander Beauty, this is the illuminating, this is like the Dualist. Yeah, the Dualist concealer. It's got a stick on one side, which works really, really well. And then the other side is an illuminating liquid concealer. It works really well. This is old though. Yeah, you can see this is separated. This needs to be trashed. So, plus I noticed that this is still available, but they've updated the packaging. That's why I know this one is old. So this is very good. Especially, you know, I just didn't use it enough, but I did use it quite a bit, but this one is old. I need to trash it. And then there was one. This is from WYN Beauty. This is, I cannot see the shade, but I did a whole video on WYN Beauty, and I remember liking this concealer, so I am going to keep it. It's fairly new. And I did like a lot of the products. My favorite product was the brow, and I actually used the entire thing. This concealer is fairly good though. I like the skin tint as well. I've worn that a couple times. So liked the concealer, gonna keep it, going to continue to use it for now. So I do like it. It's a pretty good brand and affordable too. Okay, so here is my keep pile and my final tally. I actually had exactly 100 concealers and correctors. I mean, it's crazy, 100. And I'm very, very happy that I have decluttered 63 and I am keeping 37. 37 is still a lot, but that is much better than 63. So I think that there's a couple missing in here, but these are the ones I'm keeping. I'm very happy with this, and I definitely will be able to utilize the ones that I have more with this more condensed collection. So keeping 37, decluttering 63. So that's it for this very long and in-depth color corrector and concealer declutter. Stay tuned for hopefully some more declutters. I'm going to try and get back on track, probably with some powders and then foundations next. I'm also still planning on doing a giveaway once I get to my last one, which will be eyeshadow palettes. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully I will be back on track. So if you like this video, click like, click and subscribe. That way you get a notification every time I post a new video. Bye everyone.